Welcome to Yildiz Readings 5D. Okay, we are here to dive deep into the weekly astrology. We cover it week by week for each zodiac sign. Please join us and subscribe. We also have an additional section now, which is the members zone for twin flames, pre-release video content and more. Also, have a look at the merch. Let's get into the astrology for the week and see what comes up for your zodiac sign. Now, January is full of twists and turns. If you do need a booking, the link is below. I also put specials up, and before I forget, as above, we do have the 2021 forecast for all your zodiac signs. That is a detailed report as to how the transits will affect you, what dates they're occurring, and what houses they will occur in. So keep those for reference. I'll try and pin them in the videos so that when you need them, they are easily accessible. Now, moving into the month, we do have the new moon occurring on the 13th in Capricorn by the 23rd, and we do have quite heavy placements this week relating to that Capricorn placement. Please have a look at the video for your 2021 transits. They do cover the astrology with retrogrades, directs, house placements and more. For the more weekly orientated energy to keep up to date, please subscribe so you get these transits and you know where the placements are for you. Now, moving into this month, we do have on the 13th the new moon in Capricorn, and it will be at the critical degree point. So any aspects linking to Capricorn are deeply important that you really focus on to get the best out of this week so that you can have that brand new beginning by the end of it. We also have Mercury in Aquarius, and that occurred on the 8th, and it will continue. So our thoughts, our connections, our speech, our movement will be in the bigger picture of things. We have also Venus in Capricorn, very similar to the moon energy, taking that direct responsibility and accountability with our marriages, contracts, partnerships. Now, Mars also had moved last week out of Aries, so we do have some reprieve, and it is in the house of Taurus, and it will be till March the 3rd. We do have quite heavy hitting energies linking to Taurus at the moment. Uranus and Taurus will go direct by the 14th. We also have Lilith and Taurus facing our shadow, deeply important, and Mars and Taurus. Hard to think then. Okay, so the squaring aspects that will be occurring this week is between Mercury squaring Uranus on the 12th and Mercury squaring Black Moon Lilith on the 14th, the day of Uranus and Taurus going direct. Mercury also goes in shadow by the 14th, so get that paperwork in order to be prepared. Capricorn, so let's see how this week is affecting you. Now, number one, you have had heavy hitting placements connecting into your first house, and it can feel a little bit like the return of the Mac, due to the fact that in 2020, prior to May, we did have the nodes in both Cancer and Capricorn. And that was a very testing time for both Cancer and Capricorns, and you in particular. So if you do feel all of a sudden you are having deja vu moments, it can be because we are now transiting your first house again. Now, with this, the themes of Venus and Capricorn, you are looking at your marriages, contracts, partnerships, and you're very much looking at it from your very personal point of view. And this month, we do have the new moon in Capricorn on the 13th, and it is at the critical degree. So this is going to be a major life-changing event for you. You may find that you wish to turn over a new leaf, showing up and being seen upon as a very different individual, but it's the way in which you're seeing yourself. Also, when we do have Uranus and Taurus going direct, this can be sudden changes when it comes down to your co-creative endeavors, the energy you put into pastimes and hobbies, also your romance and children, and maybe even launching something very unique and special and having faith in yourself. Now, on the 9th, we do have the moon transiting Sagittarius, and this is connected to your 12th house. Now, there may be emotions or blockages coming up at this time. Now, the 12th house is a very special house, I shall say, but it also, we can look at Chiron. Because to balance this area for you, of you believing in yourself that you can go the distance, and to believe that some of these creative projects in your mind and how you want to do things can be achieved. So let's have a look at Chiron. Now, at the moment, we did have heavy hitting placements in Aries, and last week we did have Mars transit out of Aries. So it was really, for you individually, potentially to do with family related dynamics, your domestic routines. So, with circumstances in the past, even feeling part of that tribe and always feeling at war with situations, that balance is very important. And creating those healthy boundaries might have been a bit testing. Now, currently, we do have Gemini in your 6th house. So, you do have that at your North Node. So, these quality systems you're undertaking at the moment can deeply benefit you. So, emotionally, psychologically, you may find something out within your emotions of how you can liberate yourself. So, really tap into that on the 9th. Now, when it does come to your marriages, contracts, partnerships, any difficulties, it can be a push-pull, and very similar to Aquarius, you may feel everything's coming at you. Try not to take these planets personal at the moment. It's really not a personal thing. The situations and circumstances can feel such, but it can be a very busy time tying up those loose ends, and maybe a lot of introspective, where you're reflecting upon where you stand in the matrix of your life. Now, with the Sun conjunct Pluto, this is still your 1st house placement. This can be emotional circumstance that you're needing to let go of. It's also letting go of outdated energies, especially on the 9th when it does come to that 12th house placement. It is Sagittarius energy. It can be belief systems, maybe feeling you're not educated enough. But again, Sagittarius is connected to the 9th house, as well as it's falling in your 12th house. So it can be a combination of many things. Whatever these things are that come up for you at a personal level, you may feel that some of these situations that you're wanting to launch, create, move towards may be a little bit difficult, and maybe you're guided to meditate upon it further. The emotions will be there. You may find that emotions relating to it, you can be keeping these kind of theories to yourself that are deeply personal and quite special, I would say. Special in a sense of maybe some ideas about some things you can launch. Let's leave it to that. Hobbies, projects, businesses, very 5th house placement. Now, Mars is really pushing that energy at the moment. Now, we have 3 energies in Taurus at the moment. That is Black Moon, Lilith, Mars, and Uranus and Taurus. And yes, as I mentioned, on the 14th, it's gearing up ready to go direct. Now, with this moon upon us, it is going up in degree points, the energy of where Capricorn is placed at the moment in astrology. So the intensity relating to that 1st house placement for you in particular can be deeply felt. So go easy on yourself this week. You could run into burnout. For some of you, you may be feeling 100%. You may be feeling you're firing on all pistons. But others of you, this can be heavy hitting. So Pluto is asking you to look at outdated ways. It's asking you to reflect upon it, change things up. What do we need to let go of? Especially those outdated situations, maybe even false fulfilling prophecies. So with the Sun in Capricorn, you may be feeling yourself, but with the Moon, the emotions may be really pivoting towards that bigger picture. Maybe further destinations, education, foreign countries, analytics, problem solving when it comes to growth. Now, you'll find between the 10th and 11th, those vibrations with your emotions will be reflected upon with that 12th house in Sagittarius. 12th house can also come down to your social responsibility. So if there are any situations burdening you, it's clearing up those loose ends prior to us going into shadow. And as Uranus and Taurus goes direct, all those Taurian energies are really going to flash up in your chart. And with that 5th house placement, you can see forward movement. We will, however, by the 30th be having Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, which will be affecting situations very separately in your life, which is reflection upon the income source, how you're generating that income, what your self-esteem and your net worth is, what assets you're wanting to attain, networking if you're looking for jobs, and what you have at your disposition inside of thyself. Now on the 10th, we'll have Mercury in Aquarius making a conjunction to Saturn in Aquarius. So your thoughts, your communication, your daily routine, your movements, when it does come to that accountability and the development of the second house, which can be self-esteem based energies, net worth, finances, emotional balance and social responsibility. Those things can flow very nice. But there can be subjects relating to it coming up at a drop of a hat. So do expect communication to come in that does need to be addressed and potentially may require you to use a little bit of money. Now, second house in Mercury, it can be a car related dynamic. It can be technology and communication related dynamic. So save for a rainy day just at this point during Mercury retrograde. But if you can avoid it, once Mercury does go retrograde, purchase after that fact or keep your receipts. Sign any documents at this point. This is pretty much the last week prior to us going in shadow. So it's giving you that little window, and the beauty is inside of those second house placements, when it does come to your finances, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your networking, maybe even saving for creative projects and all those missions you have in life. You're going to find that with both Saturn and Jupiter, they're direct, it will flow and there will be a continuation of growth, but there can be more crosswires during Mercury retrograde in that sign. So do expect delays when it does come to misunderstandings, miscommunication, and it really helps us develop that art of patience and communication, the dreaded word patience. So on the 10th, yes, there can be delays relating to communication coming in, especially linking to assets and things to that degree, and delays when it does relate to movement. Say you've got a business meeting, the boss says it's 12 o'clock, forgets to email you, the next thing you know, there's delays. Okay, so situations like that can occur, and there can be frustrations because maybe there's an overload of movement and social responsibilities, tying up loose ends, doing bookkeeping, paperwork, auditing, things to that degree. Subjects like that can come up around that, but there can be, yet again, frustrations, in those domains. Now, when it does come to your creative projects, bear in mind that Aries and Chiron is squaring Venus and Capricorn. So your marriages, contracts, partnerships may have a little bit of a test, so to speak, or frustrations can be there, but you're going to learn something from it. But it's also potentially activating a wound relating to Aries and Chiron, which for you, Aries links to a home-related dynamic, a family-related dynamic, domestic situations. It can potentially even be you working from home. And, the activation and the trigger can even be concerns relating to home-based situations. Okay, we will have the nodes quincunxing the Sun. So with that, what you can expect is, with the nodes connected to your 6th house and the Sun, your emotions, your first house placement, there could be tension points there. There also could be tension points relating to your emotions, because we have an opposition with the nodes to the moon. So, attempt not to burn yourself out. We have Black Moon Live quincunxing the moon. Again, emotions. Pay attention to your emotions. Try and get grounded. Try and take some time if you're needing it on this day. Now on the 12th, we have the moon transiting Capricorn, and you'll have both the sun and the moon in your first house placement. You may be really checking into how you're feeling about things. More things may come to you in a sense of responsibility. You also may be wanting to turn over a new leaf, and emotions relating to circumstances in your life might be coming up, but you could feel completely yourself. Moreover, we do have the next day the new moon in Capricorn, so it's only natural that you're going to be reflecting upon these things. Now, yes, at this time we still have Chiron in Aries squaring Venus in Capricorn. And we're like, still? Yes. Okay. So, yes, there can be wounds relating to that. There can be integration, there can be frustration, things potentially testing your nerves. A normal day, really, right? In the land of the world we all live in. But this is a changing point in astrology. So, bear in mind we're moving through this. It's almost like a rebirth for us energetically. It should move, especially since we do have the new moon, and you may be setting new intentions by the next day. We also have Chiron and Aries squaring the moon in Capricorn. So again, wounds might be coming up, and please, please, please don't be too hard on yourself this day. If some sense of a revelation or epiphany comes up, go with it. But remember, the past is the past. We do have some beautiful trines when it does come to Venus, when it comes to Mars. So yes, money can be flowing in, the investment you're putting in, you might be getting things out of it, and this can be linking to marriages, contracts, partnerships. However, there still can be that frequency relating to those creative endeavors that somehow there's just something amiss. It's a moment, it shall pass, it's all there for a process. Let's have a look at the 13th. Okay, now on the 13th, we do have, yet again, the moon transit in Capricorn. It is the new moon in Capricorn at 23 degrees. So initially you may need to adjust, and, with those new beginnings, sometimes we can set our intentions, but allow the energy to absorb into you a little bit like a sponge. Take a moment, Capricorn. You also can be dealing with, yet again, your creative pursuits, the things you're wanting to do, how you feel to do with your workplace, your romantic interests, the people you're dealing with, your pastimes, and maybe even the expenses inside those things. Because you can be looking at a lot of responsibility and maybe even situations relating to finance and growth. Some of you may even be doing work relating to creative endeavors with the 5th house, or even very separately when it does come to resource management and things to that degree. Anything second house placement. And it can link in many ways. It can be it can be self-esteem. B, it can be the way in which you grow your professional resources. But also there are going to be responsibilities there as well as growth and development. So yes, funds can increase with the work and with the discipline. You can find an increase. This can also be promotions and things to that degree in a location you gain your self-esteem and self-worth within yourself and from employment. Now, with a creative pursuit, yes, these themes can play out to assist you, and very separately, it could also be doing things like accounting, taxation, as an employment field, but responsibilities relating to income. Now on the 14th, we do have the moon transiting Aquarius, and we do on the 15th also. So your second house placement and your emotions relating to it can be expanding. You can have very creative ideas when it comes to this, and it's also with the sun in your first house placement. It's going to be making a connection between you and your doula, you and your self-esteem, you and your emotions, how you're feeling relating to these areas. Now with the 5th house placement, Mars is pushing for those creative pursuits to come through. You also can find, yes, we do need to be careful, pretty much between the 7th, where Mars transited into Taurus of January. It will be there till March the 3rd. You do have the link to the 5th house placement. So yes, co-creative energy can come through, as well as birth of children. So pre-warned, forearmed. But if you do wish to, this could be a possibility for that to be achieved. Now we do have Uranus and Taurus going direct. This does link to the 5th house, so this can be surprises, this could be movement connecting to romance, children and luck. It could be even your business that you've been working on, or to create a project suddenly coming to light where movement and traction is happening. We do, however, need to get anything signed ASAP due to the fact we are going into shadow energy of Mercury retrograde connected in the 5th house. So anything linking to that 5th house, as it goes direct, yes, a sudden change can happen, good or bad. It's like Forrest Gump in the box of chocolates. it doesn't ever really tell us. We just experience it. But you can look back to prior to when it went retrograde, and you can have some clues as to what those situations may be playing out yet again. So overall for this week, I do see a lot of busyness when it comes to financial related matters. Yes, there can be tension and frustrations, especially crosswise with the location of Mercury. Now, when it does come to miscommunication inside of your relationships and your romances, and the activation of your 12th house at the beginning of this week, I do see you to be reflecting upon yourself, your psychology, and your self-worth energy. This can also be the building of your assets. And I do find this to be very positive by the end of the week with these beautiful changes. We will have on the 14th, Venus in Capricorn, your marriages, contracts, partnerships, and where you stand in them, trining Uranus and Taurus, and this could be growth linking to this area. Have a great week, beautifuls. I trust that you will keep safe this week. Please enjoy this week. I'll see you live during the month for the Twin Flame updates. If you do need a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Remember, we do have the join section now, so the members zone is open. If you do want to come along and join us, we have live sessions for Twin Flames. It's a safe space that we can discuss things. I also have the pre-release content and another tier level and merch available as well. See you live for the super chats, guys. Love and light. Keep safe.